I'm Dan Galusha, and welcome to another edition of Dan's Fishing Tales. Hey, today I'm going to be talking to you about baits like this. This is a jerk shad that has a slot in the bottom. Well, there's also a thing that's called a fatty Z. There's a lot of them that's got them, but the fatty Z I definitely want to talk to you about because recently I did discuss some of the problems that I had when I was Texas rigging anything that has that elastex like Z-Man has in it. But first we're going to talk about this and how I rig it. Now when I rig this one, I want it so that the hook comes out here and skin hooks into this, so that I've got this profile that should be there. So I'm actually putting the hook into here and inserting it. I'm not going to show you that completely because you got the idea of what I'm talking about, because I really want to talk to you about this fatty Z and something that has the elastex. Now here's one here, and I've been using it, and for a while I was rigging this the same way I do that one because that's what I wanted. Only problem is when you skin hook it, that elastex actually takes it and acts like a rubber band across it. Not only makes it weedless, but it makes it fishless. There's a lot of times I set the hook, didn't get the fish, and I should have, and it was because the hook didn't come out. So what I've done is when I've Texas rigged it, here it is, I got it through here all the way so that we don't have to mess with that. You can see I got it poked through the slot this way instead of going this way with it. Now what I do is I bring this down and I make sure the hook is completely clear of the plastic. And you can see how tough it is in order to even try to slide it. That's another problem you have. But it's a real good lure and you don't want to avoid that. Now we've got weedless, and you can probably see that point in there. So that when it triggers down, see how that point comes up and out? Push it down a little bit more. There, you can see that point coming out. That's what you want. Now sometimes, and I won't warn you about this, sometimes this will be collapsed. The fish could do it when he hits or whatever. Then what you have is the same problem that you had before. And I always, you'll notice I use a gap hook, as they call it. This is a Pro X gap hook. Perfect hook to use for this sort of thing. In fact, with the dull finish like it has, it even matches up real well with this green pumpkin color I have. But with it this way, you can use a little bit lighter line, such as this right here. This is 8-pound test nanofill, and it is getting frayed out a little bit, so it's going to have to be cut and retied. But anyway, it will help a lot with a lighter line like that, because to pull a hook or push a hook, or however you want to say it, through this real tough plastic like this can be a real challenge. That's why a lot of times you just use a jig head. But in this case, where I'm fishing right now, I've got a lot of heavy weeds all the way up through here, and I want this to be as weedless as possible so it'll just slide through. And yesterday I was catching some fish on this. Show you a photo of one of them right here. And that's exactly how it had it rigged, and you'll see that in that photo, or you should be able to see it. But that's what I wanted to bring up to you, is the difference that rigging this bait, this natural forage FT shad, and this, they're night and day, because this one I can easily do that. But again, I use this gap hook, the Pro X gap. You can use an X-Point X gap, a fat gap like a Daiichi fat gap. Anything that's a gap hook like that that moves down and around, that's what you want. So why would you want that with this sort of a lure? It's because there's a lot of plastic to deal with, and with this big gap like this, that plastic can be pushed down there, give you plenty of hook to set it for that fish. So anyway, that's some ideas on rigging one of these up that has a slit in the bottom, and as to what you'd want to do with it. So until next time, get out on the water and have a great day of fishing.